For every choice, there is an echo. With each act, we change the world. One man chose a city free of law and God, but others chose corruption, and so the city fell. If the world were reborn in your image, would it be paradise or perdition?
It's all over now.
No! No!
I won't hurt ya!
This way. Come on, Daddy. Big sister is coming now.
Okay, I know already that we have recorded this video before, offline obviously, and I had to pick your attention until it gained 4 viewers that just gave me the views just because they wanted me to shut the hell up. So I discovered that I lacked so many content for this specific video and decided to retake it. No idea anymore how long it will take, but whatever. Greetings and salutations all, and welcome back to Invisible, the Non-Existent, Hidden from Your Eyes, Set the Shadows of Your Hearts, Let's Play the Project. This shall be the retake for the project Let's Play BioShock 2 for the remastered for the PC. And in it, I'm going to show you as much as possible of unused content, or rather, bonus extra content. So before we start, I'd like to pray peace be upon all of my subscribers and commentators, followers, fans, and friends, everyone from the beasts of the Other Empire, and everyone from the Discord server, free YouTube friends by name. Peace be upon Thunderstruck Gaming, be It's09 Gaming, Marcus, Nitro Crash, Mark ICYY, Rogajan Karodan, Cryfield, ZPTV123, Matthew 1121, Sagada 5, Bubba Express, Sparfan28, Sammy underscore we, Crazy Dragons 412, Heavy Metal Driver 666, and Dorsko. With that said, let's get moving to the gameplay scene here. Just like the previous video, we will be using my notepad here for giving credit where it's due, and there will be no gameplay at all. I'm not going to tackle also live chat. We will just be exploring content that either wasn't highlighted or unused, just to give you some more information about this game. We will start obviously with our most obvious thing. Hold it for a moment, please. I'm talking about Justin Zero's video for BioShock 2, all the 8 endings. So before we even start anything at all, let's quickly open up the credits tab, and here, Justin Zero. Copy. Go to original source. Justin Zero. Good. Then put here the same URL for the video here. 0DO, ODO, etc. Here we go. So that you know this is not from me. Someone else had finished the game 8 times to give you this compilation of all the endings of BioShock 2. And I'll have some kind of a commentary once we finish it, because BioShock 2 was my first ever game in BioShock series, and whoever doesn't like it or says that it is a mistake should finish themselves off, because they deserve a fate worse than Rapture. Anyway, I'm going to mute myself and leave you with the video, so enjoy.
And then, Father, the rapture dream was over. You taught me that evil is just a word. Under the skin, it's simple pain. For you, mercy was victory. You sacrificed, you endured, and when given the chance, you forgave. Always. Mother believed this world was irredeemable, but she was wrong, Father. We are Utopia, you and I, and in forgiving, we left the door open for her. You taught me that justice is a contract. Once broken, it can never be mended. You sacrificed so much to preserve the innocent, but to the guilty, you offered no mercy. I loved my mother, and I never wanted to hurt her. But with what she did to us, she gave up the right to exist. My hands were shaking when I did it, but you were there to steady them. And then, Father, the rapture dream was over. You taught me that right and wrong are tidal forces, ever shifting. To survive in rapture, Father, you took what you needed from the innocent. But when the guilty posed no further threat, you simply walked away. I wanted Mother dead. But broken as she was, how could she hurt me? Now, she will grow old and die, knowing that I rejected her. Then, Father, the rapture dream was over. You taught me that innocence is chrysalis, a phase designed to end. Only when we are free from it do we know ourselves. You showed me that my survival, my joy, are all that matter. I indulge. Nothing else exists. The rapture dream is over, but in waking, I am reborn. This world is not ready for me, yet here I am. It would be so easy to misjudge them. You are my conscience, Father, and I need you to guide me. You will always be with me now, Father. Your memories, your drives. And when I need you, you'll be there on my shoulder, whispering. If Utopia is not a place, but a people, then we must choose carefully, for the world is about to change. And in our story, Rapture was just the beginning. You made a monster of me, Father, but I wondered why you saved the others. You left me in doubt. Didn't you want me to be like you? I knew I could save you, but if you felt regret, if you wanted me to choose for myself, I would have to let you go, to let you die. The rapture dream is over, and in waking, I am alone. Mother, I left behind, and you chose to die rather than to have me follow you. you gave me the greatest gift of all. Something I have never had. My freedom. There is no name for what I am, but the world is about to change. I thought we would seize it together. Yet, as I sat there with you, I wondered if even I could be redeemed. Your sacrifice gave me hope. But Father, wherever you are, I miss you. You may not have wanted me, Father, but you defined me. You chose to survive, no matter the cost, and I will not let your instincts go to waste. The rapture dream is over, and in waking, I am reborn. You will always be with me, Father. Your memories, your drives. When I need you, you'll be there, whispering from my shoulder. There is no name for what I am. But the world is about to change, and with your help, they will never see me coming. The rapture dream is over, and in waking, I am reborn. You may not have wanted me, Father, but you defined me. You chose to survive, no matter the cost, and I will not let your instincts go to waste. You will always be with me, Father. Your memories, your drives. When I need you, you'll be there, whispering from my shoulder. There is no name for what I am. But the world is about to change, and with your help, they will never see me coming.
Okay, my commentary about this cutscene here. Frankly speaking, I prefer Eleanor being good and evil at the same time. The good Eleanor shows a hope in the future, and with the little sisters, she will always have some allies and company. For the endings, throughout all of my heart, I believe that Sophia Lamb deserves one of two: either to die by Eleanor's own hands, or to become old and die knowing that Eleanor have always rejected her. The idea of Delta sacrificing himself after Eleanor has already rejected her mother is just extremely selfish and stupid. Frankly speaking, Eleanor, what you should call yourself is a survivor. A survivor from a hell, a cursed nightmare that was built by your very own mother. Which is kind of ironic. Anyway, next up in our program will be... Let me check it here quickly. Oh shit. One moment. Okay, will be our BioShock 2 every plasmid video animation. Why did I say oh shit? Because I forgot completely that YouTube works with the number pad as much as I have already programmed OBS to work with the number pad as well. Anyway, credit where credit is due. Thanks very much for JoshuaPare for this video. Let's see here, JoshuaPare, original source. And the URL. Network. I believe that this video may be longer than the BioShock 1 video because we have so much more content to cover. Just make sure this is exactly the URL. It is 4103. 4103. Good. Enjoy it. Sorry, I didn't know that I muted myself, sorry. Once more again.
Daddy was sleeping for such a long time, and Eleanor has missed you. Find her and you'll be all better. Daddy!
Stun your enemies with 1,000 volts. Shock in water for an extra charge. Stun enemies longer. Charge up to generate chain lightning. Every bolt hits more than one foe. Charge up to blast them with a deadly storm. Set traps for unsuspecting enemies. Lure your foes into deadly ambushes. Upgrade your traps with plasmid power. Try out many combinations. Place traps on any surface. Create more elaborate booby traps. The possibilities are endless. Use a decoy to distract foes. Watch as they attack the wrong man. Even the odds with a harder working decoy. Watch as it reflects damage back on distracted foes. Get the most out of your investment. Damage by the decoy is returned to you as health. Hypnotize your foes. Laugh as they fight each other. Need a friend? Charge up to charm your enemies. Warning, not all friendships are made to last. Need bigger friends? Charge up to get Big Daddy on your side. Light up enemies to 1,000 degrees. Warning, fire spreads. Now you're cooking. Charge up for an explosive blast. Explosive fire with a flick of your wrist. Charge up to blast foes with a fountain of flame. Summon a swarm of insects. Laugh as they seek out hidden enemies. Release a nastier swarm. Snicker as they seek out one enemy after another. Breed better insects. Swarms hide in expired enemies, awaiting further prey. Worried about your future? Scout the situation before going ahead. Get the jump on your enemies with a plasmid surprise. Master your future. Use Scout to overcome enemies and hack security in complete safety. Trick the security system. Divert bots, turrets, and cameras to attack where you choose. Send friendly bots on errands. Command the security system. Charge to summon a friendly bot anytime. Master the security system. Command the attention of all security. Charge up to summon stronger bots. objects at foes. You can even catch grenades and throw them back. Think bigger. Throw objects at higher speed or more damage. Enemy in your way? Not anymore. Throw him with the power of your mind. Freeze your enemies. Shatter them into 1,000 pieces. Enemies for longer. Charge up and put them on ice. Warning, colds are catching. Deep freeze enemies quickly. Charge up to shower foes with a devastating ice storm. Summon the big sister to fight by your side. Warning, nothing lasts forever. Clear a room of clutter, or your enemies. Watch them try to resist the pull of Gravity Well. Intruders are in for a nasty surprise. Charge up to plant a Gravity Well proximity mine. Stubborn intruders? Add a splash of corrosive acid to your Gravity Well. Oh, how they'll scream.
Okay, before you start judging these ads and how everything is just focused completely on killing others, don't forget that they came out during the Civil War of Rapture, so everything counted as a weapon. Anyway, next thing on in our programming here would be something that not many care about that much. For the next 14 minutes, almost 14 and minutes and 43 seconds, we will be thanking very much Gardimuer for the little sister's quotes in BioShock 2. Believe it or don't, BioShock 2 had lots of quotes by the little sisters because you were playing as a big daddy as is, but also the thing that makes my blood boil the most is the fact that you can only trigger 20% of them any given time. If you wish to hear all of the quotes, you will have to extract them from the game files. Pardon? Something gets stuck in my throat. Anyway, so yeah, I have played this game 4 times in 4 different builds in order for me to just be able to hear more of these quotes. But sadly, only ever 20% of them trigger. The 80% you need to extract them, just like these videos were made. As you can see here, there are two parts for these videos, so enjoy them while you can. Enjoy it.
I thought you'd left me. See, Angel? Daddy wasn't leaving. Daddy's back. Now we can get the atom. I can't do it alone, Daddy. Come back. Not by myself. It's too scary. No, Daddy. You have to help me. Where are you going, Daddy? Don't leave me. Daddy. Wait. Come back. Please don't go away. Adam, Daddy, right here. Here's the angel. Here it is. We found it. Adam, Daddy, here. Here's the angel. We found Adam, Daddy. Adam, Daddy, let's get it. Right here. See it glow? This one has Adam. I smell an angel. Let's catch it. Angel falls somewhere here, Daddy. Adam is near, Daddy. Can you see? Roses and sunshine. Angels is near. Adam is close. An angel is near. Angel, Daddy. Somewhere here. Almost found the Adam. We're getting close, Daddy. I smell Adam. Almost there. Oh no. Run, Daddy. It's Big Sister. Big Sister doesn't like you, Daddy. Big Sister sees you. It's her. It's Big Sister. Daddy, run away. Uh-oh. Big Sister is coming. Coming now. Big Sister thinks you're hurting me. Run, Daddy. Big Sister is coming. She says you're a bad daddy. I hear a creeper peeper. Smile for the paper, Daddy. Daddy's giving you stars and birdies. Nobody hurts my daddy. Unzip him, Daddy. Don't let him get me, Daddy. X his eyes. X his eyes. Daddy's mad and you'll be sorry. Who watches over sleeping angels? I do. Angels is on the inside. Adam inside. Sleepy angels shine. Adam shine. Roses and sunshine means angels. Angels remember Mommy. Who is that? I see Adam in that one. That one has Adam. Something bad, Daddy. I see it. Look out, Daddy. It's a bad one. Bad. Make the baddie go away. Make the baddie go away. Almost done, little angel. Don't cry. Soon, Daddy, soon. Ticky-tock, almost ready. Just a itsy-bitty now, Daddy. All done, Daddy. This angel's all done now. Yay! Ta-da! Come on, Daddy. Daddy, I'm ready. Adam in the oven for Daddy and me. I promise it won't even hurt. See? Good girls, gather, gather, gather. Angel belly, my belly, who belly, your belly. I'm a good girl, Daddy. Ah! Daddy! Ah! Help! Stop it! Ah! No! Don't touch me! Ah! It's got me! No strangers, no! Let go, let go! Let go! tuck the angel in, Daddy. Hush now, Daddy. Don't wake it. Lullaby and good night, and the stars it is bright. Good doggy. Woof. Who's a pretty kitty? Ooh, dance with me, Daddy. This song is pretty, Daddy. This song is pretty, Daddy. This song is pretty, Daddy. Daddy, you would never go away, right? Daddy's not afraid. Daddy has the bestest toys. We don't need any mommies, nuh-uh. Angels, sing to us and wing to us. Daddy smells like yesterday. Shh, Daddy. Big sister doesn't want you playing with me. Eleanor lives in the upside-down house with her mommy, but it's a secret. Daddy, I'm scared. I'm too sleepy to play anymore, Daddy. Please, can we go to the hidey hole? No more angels, Daddy. Let's go home. I'm ready for dream time now, Daddy. Almost home, Daddy. Hidey hole is near, Daddy. I'm sleepy. Sleepy time is near. Hidey hole. Almost home again, Daddy. Almost to bedtime. See you in the morning. Daddy! No! Daddy? Daddy? What's wrong, Daddy? What's wrong? No squeezes for Spooky Daddy. Go play with Spooky Daddy. Go play with Spooky Daddy. It's dancing, Daddy, dancing. It's dancing, Daddy, dancing. Let's dance with them, Daddy. Ooh, marshmallow. Ooh, marshmallow. How about a scary crow, little fire? 2 daddies? This is funny. I'm Daddy. No, I'm Daddy. Ooh, Daddy, is this dolly for me? Can we keep it? Ouchies in your mouth and eyes. Give us honeys. Gives us honeys. Kerbunk! Kerbunk! Catch! Catch! Banana! Banana! Here, Mousy Mousy. You're leaky, Daddy. Fix it. You're hurting. Make it better. Daddy's boring. Daddy's boring. Daddy! Wake up! Daddy! Wake up! Daddy, it's us from the looking glass. She wants a for real daddy, too. Smile! Smile! 3, 2, 1, look for the birdie. That's a very bad clown, Daddy. When can we buy the circus? Does Scary Face sell scary monkeys? Laughing isn't funny, you bad old clown. Oldie toy and newie toy. Even Daddy's toys have toys. I can't play outside, Daddy. I can't swim, Daddy. That's a bad Daddy. I don't like it. Help! It's mean! No, 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 no! Leave me alone! Mr. Bubbles, help! No touching! Bad, Daddy, bad! Don't hurt me! Ah! No, Mr. B! Let me down, Mr. B. Back to work, Mr. B. Back to work, Mr. B. Hey, what's that? What's that? Hey, look! What's that, Mr. B? Can I have this, Mr. B? What is it, Mr. Bubbles? Is this yours, Mr. B? Does Big Sister have one, Mr. B? This way. Smell the Adam, Daddy? Over there. Adam, Daddy, over there. It's this way. See? Adam is near. Come on, Daddy. It's close. Ah! Ah! I can hear the angels singing, Mr. B. Let me go first, Mr. Bubbles. I dreamed that you were someone else, Mr. B. Here, Adam in the belly. It's smiling, Mr. B. It has Adam. This one, Mr. Bubbles. I'm a good girl. I smelled the Adam. Adam for me and Mr. B. Silly, sleeping out here. Where's your Adam? And how much Adam have you had, little angel? Here it is. Can you smell the Adam? Can't get there from here, Mr. B. We can't reach it, Mr. B. Why can't we get there, Mr. B? Pretty angel. Pretty hair. Dirty hair. It's just a little pinch, scaredy angel. Adam in your pocket, pocket, pocket. Where angels fall, the rosies grow tall. I'm a good girl, Mr. B. Shh, it's sleeping. I could give you braids and ribbons. Angels remember, so we remember. See the light in the tummy? Naughty, trying to hide the Adam. Sometimes the rosies spill all over everywhere. I'll make you light as feathers again. This angel's lonely. Daddy? You're never gonna hurt me, right? Daddy's home. I've been good, promise. Are you gonna... Daddy isn't angry, is he? I'll be extra quiet. I won't make you upset. Where are we going, Daddy? Are we gonna be together again, Daddy? Daddy! You always save me from the monsters. Daddy, are you taking me home too? I'm always safe with Daddy. I'm telling the other girls that I have the best daddy. He's nicer than other daddies. Where did Daddy go? Big girls aren't supposed to be to be lonely. Daddy! I don't like all by myself. We hush when it's scary. Shh.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I figured out as much. I bloody hell figured out as much. It's because... Hold it. Yeah. So about this, but looks like I completely ruined the URL for this one because okay, this is kind of stupidly funny. I copied the death one more time again. Okay, let me clarify a little bit here. Previous video, in the very same area, I copied and pasted the wrong information here. In here it should be... One moment. Pardon me, looks like today is not the best day for my throat. Anyway, in here I should be writing original source, then the name of the content creator. In this case, since we will have a second part here, it's Gardimuer here. And then space, and then the URL. The one you have been seeing was the URL for the last one here, the 4103 for all the plasmids, because for some stupid reason, instead of pasting the new one, the software decided to paste both this one here and this one both, and remove the rest of this. Maybe it's a glitch, I'm not really sure. Whatever. The URL for the first part of the Little Sisters quotations is inside the description of the stream, and it is https www.youtube.com/watch V=96J6 PEC capital R small J small B4. Anyway, I'd like to greetings and salutations for Georgia Telegraph-Scotta for being with us during this live stream. I apologize once again because I will not be turning on the chat because I don't want to ruin this live stream due to the amount of information I am giving you. This one is KI3. So let's see here. KI3, this is the one. This time, pretty please, do not ruin it for me. Again, I remind you, triggering all of these lines of dialogue is nigh impossible. I played the game 4 times, each of them in a specific build. I never managed to trigger all of these codes. Anyway, let's get moving. This is the second video, so shall we start? I'll mute myself early on. Yes, my friend, it's the same one here. It's the same URL. Just calm down.
The man in the moon is a girl, Mr. Bubbles. No eyes, no noses, no ears, no teeth. And one little girl was not like the rest, Mr. B. But the aminal birthday was no kids allowed. No kids allowed. And there was a bridge over the sky, and trains when it rains. I know a bad word, Mr. B, and you spell it M-O-M-M-E. And everywhere is white and soft so you can't get owies. God is sleeping, Mr. B. In the water. Wait and see. Can we go on the ride and see Mr. Angry again? Can we? I'm pretty like Caterpillar Princess, right, Mr. B? The ugly muck swims all alone in Castle Glassy, Mr. B. One day she'll come out and sing a song of sorry, Mr. Bubbles. Mr. Bubbles, where is all the boys? And sometimes an angel goes away from heaven. Nobody knows where. The angels is like flutterbys in my tummy. I'm excited. And then the stone men turn around and go boom, boom, boom. This is your medicine. Mr. B? Mr. B? What's wrong with you, Mr. B? Mr. Bubbles. Get up, Mr. Bubbles. Please, get up, Mr. Bubbles. Please. Why won't you move, Mr. Bubbles? Mr. Bubbles, please get up. Mr. Bubbles? Mr. Bubbles. No. Mr. Bubbles, please. Bubbles. Get him, Mr. B. Don't let him get me. Unzip him, Mr. B. Unzip him. He's bad. He hurts. Naughty, naughty. Time out. You go to time out. Oh. Let's go find that angel, Daddy. Now I'm gigantic like you, right, Daddy? Daddy back ride. Time for Adam, Daddy? I know where the angels fall, Daddy. Adam, Daddy, I made it for you. More Adams, sir, Daddy?
Why, yes, please.
It's always Daddy's birthday. Say thank you, Daddy.
Thank you.
I'm sleepy, Daddy. Take me home. No more, Daddy. Take me to dream time. Daddy, you're all better. Hooray! Is it really you, Daddy? I missed you. You was sleeping forever, Daddy. Good morning. It's you, Daddy. Are we gonna play again? Daddy? I thought... But you're alright. Daddy, I missed you. Why am I crying? You're okay. You're back, Daddy. Where did you go? You're awake again. I missed you. But we can put Daddy together again. Is Daddy feeling better? Daddy should be careful. No, Daddy. Don't follow the angels. I found you, Daddy. It'll be alright now. Come on, Daddy. Wake up. Daddy's home. There he is. Can I come out to play again, Mr. B? Are the bad ones gone away, Mr. B? The nightmares is gone, Mr. Bubbles. You rescued me, Sir Bubbles. I'm bored. It's wet. It's too cold. I want Molly. No, I want to play. Too many shadows. Sticky. Why am I smiling? I don't want to smile. The wet in the dark. It wants to play. I'm nobody. Twist a balloon and it screams. Why can't I go home? I want to go home. In the house of upside down, cellar's top floor, attic's ground. In the house of upside down, laughing cries and smiles frown. In the house of upside down, found is lost, and lost is found. Thank you, Mr. Bubbles. Why, thank you, Sir Bubbles. It was dark, but you're all glowy, Mr. B. I'm tired of dreaming, Mr. B. Take me home. Sing me a lullaby, Mr. Bubbles. Too much Adam, Mr. B. Time for Betty bye. Back to the hidey hole, Mr. B. Who watches over sleeping angels? I do, I do. Do you hear the angels dreaming, Mr. B? A angel has 700 names, Mr. B. Angels is on the inside, Adam inside. Sleepy angels shine, Adam shine. Roses and sunshine means angels. So many new angels. New Adam, too. Which angel first, Mr. B? This one? Angels remember Mommy. Who is that? I'm ready for dream time, Mr. B. Come tuck me in, Mr. B. My tummy says it's time to sleep, Mr. Bubbles. But there was an angel here. Where did the Atom go? Not fair! Give it back! Come on, Mr. B. We'll miss the angels dancing. Don't dilly-dally, Mr. Bubbles. Hurry! Skippy skip, Mr. B. Big sister doesn't like slow pokes. No time to play, Mr. B. More Atom for big sister. Faster, Mr. B. Don't make me carry you. Hop, hop, Mr. Bubbles. Our angels will wake. Mr. Bubbles, come on! Thank you. He's the one that saved us. I like him. Thank you so much.
Okay, a few points to point out quickly. First and foremost, very much big thank you for Juliette Landu for being the voice actress for these little sisters. Also, I'd like to remind you that all this crying and screaming and laughter is being done by an adult woman, not a little girl. Yes, all these high-pitched voices are done by the voice actress Juliette Landu, just as I explained, I believe, her name in the previous stream for BioShock 1 bonus video. So, yeah, also, what does she mean exactly by Daddy smells like yesterday? That was a very funny quote, honestly. Anyway, also, I just now, while listening to the quotes, visited Reddit on my phone, and turns out that why do the little sisters call you Mr. Bubbles? The answer is because of your suit. Don't forget that Big Daddies are made from divers. So when you get outside of the water and they see you, most likely they would see from you the water bubbles, or maybe because on your own diving suit, it just makes sense for them. Don't forget that these are just very small girls that are technically living in their own world. Anyway, next up in our program would be the following. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. BioShock 2 multiplayer, all sounds from the little sister. This is by Michael DK2. Let's quickly give the credit for its due. I forgot to add this video in the initial release. That's why the first stream that I recorded privately will be deleted. Yay! Yeah, whatever. As if anyone cares, that is. IGIW, whatever. Bruh, it's only you, miss. You did that mistake once. No need to keep highlighting it. I need to highlight it because I need to give it credit when it's due without making any mistakes. That's why I care about it. Okay then, I am pretty sure that when I wrote this before, the program itself glitched on me. It's not me that misspelled it or miscopy and pasted it. Anyway, good. Next up will be all the quotes from BioShock 2's multiplayer mode where the little sisters would be speaking, so enjoy.
I spy with my little eye. Adam! Come out wherever you are. I can hear the angel dreaming. It's raining angels, Mr. B. There's one, Mr. B. Something smells good. Ooh, I smell sunshine. Glowy, glowy angel glows. Ready or not, here I come. I smell sleepy angels. I can see inside the angels. Insides are angels' bestest sides. Ooh, what angels singing to me. Mr. B's gonna hurt you so much. I'll scream. I'm telling, you're in big trouble. Help me, help me, help me, help me. Get off of me. Let me go. Mr. B'll get you. You'll be sorry. Mr. Bubbles! Put me down. Crazy eyes, crazy eyes. Don't hurt me. Please stop. You're a baddie, but I'm a good girl. No fair, no fair. No fair, no fair. Pick your own sides. Get back. Hands off of me. Not funny, Mr. B. Mr. B? Why can't they leave us alone, Mr. B? Why did they hurt you, Mr. B? We'll play whatever you want, Mr. B. Don't leave me, Mr. Bubbles. I can't do it without you, Mr. B. I need you, Mr. B. Please, Mr. B. Please. You're just taking a nap, right? Time to get up now, Bubbles. You're not supposed to get hurt, Mr. B. Okay, quit playing, Mr. B. What's that, Tummy? You want Adam? You think there's ice cream anymore? Light bulbs make it daytime. All angels are sleepy. Angels speak music. Can mommies drown? What do mommies eat, Mr. Bubbles? Does a mommy bite, Mr. B? Do mommies have sharp teeth? Does a mommy have wings? Will you be an angel someday, Mr. Bubbles? Anyone could be an angel, Mr. B. Bright lights taste sour. Let's get up and at 'em. It's time to gather Adam. I'm a good girl, right, Mr. B? Proud of me, Mr. Bubbles? Fresh Adam. Angels keep the atom warm. Gathering the atom, the atom, the atom. Shh! The bad dream's over now, Angel. This is a fresh one, Mr. B. This one's got a tummy full. Angels are nice on the inside. Sleeping angels are nice angels. This one was a clumsy angel. Who loves Adam? I do, I do. Oh, this one did bad things, Mr. B. More, more, more. Let's get more, Mr. B. I want some more. Yum! Yummy in my tummy. Bye. Be careful. Tuck me in, okay? You did good. We did it. You saved me. Thank you. I'm snug as a rug.
Okay, let me remind you quickly about something. Little Sisters are nothing more than assets, 3D meshes that are humanoid shaped with a mouth box, 2 eyeballs, and a voice actress's files for voiceover files named Gatherer. Little Sisters originally were nothing more literally than slugs. So, being able to make the player care for them this much and wish to protect a mesh, a 3D mesh, shows you how critically developed the game became. Also, for me personally, when I played BioShock 2, I take every single little sister as my personal daughter. That was never born in the real life. Whatever. So, if I'm not mistaken by now, let me check here quickly. Yeah, even more quotes. A BioShock game that doesn't have little sisters and big daddies is not a BioShock game, pretty easily and simply. Also, yeah, there is a mode in the original BioShock 2 of Rapture's Civil War where you play one of the two sides, either Ryan's or Frank Fontaine's. There is a mode that's called Capture the Little Sister, in which the splicers, that you are one of them, literally tries to capture the little sister, kidnap her from the big daddy, and throw her into the hidey hole for the sake of getting points. It is the only time in the game where you will see little sister's angry face as she stares at you with such despise. Usually, little sisters only show their smiling faces for big daddies because literally they are their protectors, or to big sisters because also they are their protectors. Regardless, let's go to the next one, shall we? Here. This one is by Joo John. Little sisters unused special quotes. Why is most of this are just little sister quotes? Because they are extremely essential for the game itself. BioShock games are part Little Sisters, part Big Daddies, and part whatever the hell the story is about. This one is 7 Sig. 7 Sig, this is the one. Copy and paste it. Credit is given where credit is due. Done. Okay. Make sure original source is Joo John and then the link for the original video. Good. I'll mute myself now and let you enjoy the special unused quotes.
Eleanor says that Daddy is smarter than any old Mr. Bubbles now. How come? That's Mr. Angry. I still like him, but he's sleeping now. This is for you. It's from Eleanor. Eleanor is a big girl now, but she says that you're her daddy too, because Daddy is forever. Ooh, this angel is singing, Daddy. He says, sweet Jesus, who am I fooling? Did this to myself. Big sister knew that she knew what I did, and she found me. Daddy, this ride is scary. This ride is all about learning. Eleanor lived here for a little while, Daddy, and me too. I don't like Mr. Stanley. He's a fibber. Eleanor says you have to hurry. Her mommy is going to take us all to heaven. Eleanor says Daddy knows best. Are we going to see Eleanor?
Well, that was quick and interesting at the same time. Okay, what was I about to say here? This game obviously was designed in the name of having a very strong father and daughter relationship, to the point where it's almost anti-mothers. Since, again, Sophia Lamb herself is a disaster. Don't forget about that fact. And the fact that Eleanor Lamb herself rejected her mother for the sake of her father, Project Delta, is saying something. Also, having a bad word that is mommy is something rather unique. Anyway, next up in our program is BioShock 2 Rescue Little Sister video. That's 38 seconds only, by Video Game Equation. Let's quickly give it credit when it's due. Don't worry, this one we will reach it later on. Video Game Equation, copy here to my credits. Paste here, good. A little bit here of space would be good also. What one is this one? DVB. Okay, DVB, this one. This URL. Put it right here, and we're done. Hopefully, good. No, good. Then like this, minimize it. Good. Okay, for the next 38 seconds, enjoy it. Well, let's look at.
Well, our Tin Man had a heart all along. Personally, I call that a liability, but you have enough Adam now. Barely. Head to the Hall of the Future and splice up with Incinerate.
Okay, that was nice. Let's see the next one. Okay, also by Video Game Equation. This time is Harvest the Little Sister. 2IK. Okay? This is the one. I understand that by now, bro. I'm not going to repeat the same mistake again, so just calm down, please. Calm the hell down. This one is 35 seconds only. Enjoy it. This is harvesting or killing the little sister.
Euthanasia, son. That's all it was. You have more than enough Adam now. Head to the Hall of the Future and splice up with Incinerate.
Euthanasia, mercy killing. Because literally put, little sisters are not the humans. They are literally humans turned monsters. So no need to feel any empathy toward them because literally it's better for them this way. Anyway, let me check what's the next one here. Yeah, this one here is from Ribbotsaur. BioShock 2 Little Sister speech pick up bad. We know by now from my walkthrough that I recorded for you previously how the Little Sisters would react for you if you rescue them. They will just be happy to see you. This one shows you how they act if you harvested them instead of rescuing them. Not too long of a video. One more time, I remind you, whether you use rescue or you harvest, I must remind you once more, you are literally fighting for your life in Rapture. The Adam you can get is limited, it's finite. It's either your own survival or their survival. There is no bad decision here. It's up to you how you play. If you save the Little Sisters, Tenenbaum would give you specific passive tonics. If you harvest them, you will be able to purchase all the tonics and the plasmids from the Gatherer's Garden. So in both ways, you are the winner. However, if you truly counted how much you gain from Tenenbaum or from the harvesting, I think it's harvesting that gives you the most Adam, not the rescuing. Anyway, it's a trade. So let's keep moving. I'll go quiet and you will be watching the video.
Daddy, you're never gonna hurt me, right? Where are we going, Daddy? Daddy's home. I've been good, promise. Daddy isn't angry, is he? Are you gonna... Daddy isn't angry, is he?
So usually if you rescue them, they would stand still and be more than prepared for you to pick them up. That's just the normal stuff. When you harvest them, they become more defensive, and even though you would be adopting them, they know for a fact that they will end up being finished by you. What's next in our program today? Yeah, if you play with harvesting most of the Little Sisters, if not all of them, Eleanor will tell you that every single time you saved or harvested a Little Sister, some of her was technically inside them. So she knows very well how it feels like to be rescued or to be harvested. And so she will do the same for you once the little sister gives you control over herself. And if you remember very well, when we were in the wings where you need to give Eleanor the help of the little sisters, she will either save them and make them help her boil the water in St. Clair's float, or she will use her power to harvest the little sisters and then power up her electric bolt and incinerate. This is the quick video what happens when Eleanor herself harvests the little sister by Naruto X79. Let's give credit where it's due. Naruto X79. And by the way, whoever calls the guy Naruto is mistaken the pronunciation, because it's the Japanese pronunciation Naruto, not the American dub Naruto. The U is silent, but who cares anyway? Let's see here. 41 is DOH. Yes, this one is only for 14 seconds, so it will be extremely quick. Enjoy it while it lasts. This is Eleanor, right before your eyes, harvesting. So yeah, usually you would pet the little sisters to rescue them. Harvesting them, you simply do something off the camera and extract from their stomach the slug. Technically, you're literally killing them. But who cares? It's either your survival or theirs. One of you, not them both. Next up is here for 8 minutes. The gameplay of the little sisters on the evil or the more survivalist style. This is by MrSnuggleduck. Let's quickly give a credit where it's due. MrSnuggleduck. Before you ask, in BioShock 2 Remastered, there is no multiplayer mode because it was removed. So, is there a way for you to play BioShock 2 multiplayer? There is. There actually is. And the only way for you to play BioShock 2 multiplayer is to first and foremost have the original BioShock 2, the normal one, not the remastered one, and then to join forces with the BioShockHub Discord server, where the people there will give you how to join their private servers and enjoy the multiplayer experience. It is still possible, even though the 2K official servers are shut down. What can I do? People just preserve what they cherish the most. Now, enjoy with me the little sister play the evil way.
Father, it's me, Eleanor. I'm so sorry. Mother stopped my heart long enough to sever our bond. Staying near me won't stop you from dying now. Or worse. But I can still help you escape. This little sister's brought you something that will allow you to take control of her. I know this feels a bit strange, Father, But now you can see through her eyes and tell her where to go. This is how I brought you back without Mother catching on. Now, first, let's get you out of here. Good. Now, inside Mother's office, there's a way to unlock these chambers she's holding us in. Find a way to slip in there. Should be a lever in here somewhere. Pull it.
Attention.
It will unlock the cells.
Sinclair has been sighted within the facility. He will attempt to reach Subject Delta. All family duties are hereby suspended until he is found.
What Mother did to me left me very weak, or I would do this part myself. To save your life, I'm going to have to change. To be like you. From here, you should be able to locate the pieces of a Big Sister suit. Please, bring them to me. There's a piece of the suit in here, Father. Find the rest and bring them back to me. Years, Father. Stuck in this fever dream. Mother kept me sedated in order to perfect my mind with Adam. To her, the ideal child is a genius, serving the common good without questioning it. You have saved me from that. Other sisters are made from me, in part. As they grow up in Rapture, I feel it all.
When you were with the little ones, they trusted you as their father because of me. Mother was right about one thing. I have been watching you, Father, studying the way you have treated others, and now I know who I am. I survive, no matter the cost, just as you have. My new sisters trusted you, but you took what you needed and disposed of them. And I felt every one. It wasn't personal. It was the law of nature. So this, what I'm about to do, is perfectly natural. That is much better. Ready now. These suits always did remind me of you, Father. The skin of a born survivor. And now I'm ready to fight at your side. Mother doesn't stand a chance. Take this plasmid. You can use it to...
I would have sincerely much more desired it had you been able to face Lamb face to face. Honestly, from my point of view, Grace didn't deserve to die, but Stanley and Alex both deserved to die. Stanley destroyed Delta and Eleanor both, and he's the reason why she became Little Sister in the first place. Gilbert Alexander also deserves to die because he's the one that begs you to be killed by you, since he completely lost his mind. Only Grace doesn't deserve to die. And frankly enough, if killing both Stanley and Gilbert Alexander would kill Sophia Lamb, I wouldn't really mind it. Sophia Lamb deserves death or deserves to grow old and die naturally while knowing that Eleanor rejected her completely. Because that deranged, disgusting, mad woman deserves what has come for her. What is this one? A cut dialogue. Delta was Eleanor's father all along. Good. Usually at this point, my first video ended by the TheAwesomeHyperon video. As per usual, give it credit where it's due. If you wish to visit these channels and discover what they hold for you, you are more than welcome to check these links and these URLs to check out what the content creators have to offer. I'm just borrowing what they have. I'm not monetized, and so whatever I'm showing you is just for extra information. Don't forget that invisible, the non-existent, hidden from your eyes, set the shadows of your hearts is a quitter, which means someday, very soon, I will stop creating content completely to this cursed Tyrant that's called YouTube. Enjoy the cat content.
You had been a prisoner for some time, Father, and Mother bought the rights to your genetic material to create me. She needed someone disposable. She didn't care who you were, because she always intended to perfect me with Adam. And she wanted me all to herself. When Mother lost me and I became a little sister, you had already been made a protector. When it came time to bond us into pairs, Father, they put us all in a room and let us choose. Even in my condition, I knew I was yours.
So technically, Sophia Lamb, the whore, wanted to be a single mother, like it or not, and she forcefully took the sperm from Johnny Topside, the diver who became Delta, and then she disposed of him like all the Western households nowadays do. Take the father, steal the sperm, then trash him aside. But what happened in the end was that fate played the reverse card, and Delta became the single father for his only daughter, Eleanor. Sadly, we don't know what the last name of Johnny Topside is, so I don't think we can just call Eleanor Topside. Whatever, next one. Okay, so I previously in the BioShock 1 bonus video showed you what Jack truly looked like in his third-person view. Guess what? Remember in my own walkthrough when I told you that I am glad we finally had a shadow for Project Delta? Because I believe that the game finally the game developers gave you a model so that it can give the shadow off of the walls. Let's see what happens when someone hacks the camera and shows you truly what Subject Delta looks like from the third-person view. This is done by Nooby Chris, playing BioShock 2 in third person. So let's give first and foremost the credit where it's due. Nooby Chris. We have two videos from Nooby Chris this time. Okay, here we give the original source by Nooby Chris. Good. And the link here is 0px. So 0px, this one. Good. Put the credit where it's due. I am literally advertising all of these content creators' channels for free in exchange for asking them the right to create this bonus video. I'm obviously not showing you the entire half an hour, I'm just showing you the highlights of it. So just enjoy it while you can. Why do I keep saying this? Because sooner or later the video will have to reach its ending. So whatever.
He's perfectly safe now. This is not your daughter. Do you understand? Her name is Eleanor, and she is mine. Now, kneel, please. Remove your helmet. Now, take the pistol. Place it against your head. Fire.
Daddy was sleeping for such a long time, and Eleanor has missed you. Find her and you'll be all better. Daddy!
7 heads and 10 horns.
At last, a signal. You, who are bringing this dead city to life, listen. My name, it is Tannenbaum. I know who you are, and I am in much need of your help. Please, find me in the Atlantic Express train station.
Adam in weeks.
This is Dr. Sophia Lamb with a message for the people. Remember, you are not alone. Think of me not as leader, but as mother to the Rapture family.
What's going on?
This is still my home.
So yeah, when next time NPCs are afraid of you, don't take it too personally. In BioShock 2, you are nothing more than floating arms with an ever-changing right arm and the left arm that keeps changing its plasmids. What I really wish to know is what happens when you adopt a little sister. Let's go and check it out. Also, for Sophia Lamb to say she's just a mother for the family, yeah, she's not your leader, but your goddess. That's why she's trying to make your messiah, Eleanor Lamb. For Sophia Lamb, sacrificing oneself to the people and making everyone equally miserable, such a Marxist bullshit from her side. She wants to play God when Andrew Ryan played dictator, and Andrew and Fountain played capitalist. Everyone in this series is trash. Either way, if I'm not mistaken, and I record correctly, I know where the part comes when you adopt a little sister in your third person view. Let's check it out.
Find a way in. I've already been on all the rides. The way. Now. As you can see, Chief, the station here's iced over. To reach Eleanor Lamb at Fontaine Headquarters.
And good luck.
Well, look at you. A bona fide knight in armor, complete with iron horse. The name's Augustus Sinclair Sport, Esquire. Old Tannenbaum and I share an interest in the old Fontaine building, the very same place you'll find Eleanor Lamb. I think you and I can do business. Take the train to Ryan Amusements. I'll see you shortly. Whoa there. Now better apply the brakes unless you're aiming to dash yourself against that glacier up ahead. As you can see, Chief, the station here's iced over. To reach Eleanor Lamb at Fontaine headquarters, we'll have to clear the way. Now, in order to melt that ice, you'll need a plasmid, like a handful of hellfire. We used to sell a fine old product called Incinerate in the amusement park up yonder. Go on and find a way in. I've already been on all the rides.
Daddy, are you taking me home too?
We're in business. Now, there are corpses all over Rapture, and little Dimples there can sniff out the atom on them. Find one.
Is to create a tyrant. We must therefore eradicate tyranny at the genetic level. To end sin itself. That is the family. That is our cause.
Come on, Daddy. It's close. This way.
You gotta remember, I'm the man of the house, and that means she's gotta behave.
She's got a juicy one, but when she starts draining out the atom, the splicers will come running. Be ready before you set her down on that body.
That is a child of the family, not a toy for you to exploit and discard. It is fitting that you expire here. One more forgotten curio in Ryan's shrine to the self.
Oh my god! Here, behind the camera, I'm laughing my ass out. Wow! So not only do you have two sisters, one little sister on your back to give you the illusion of having a little sister mounting your back, but also one big-sized little sister that just serves as your pick-up or let down animation little sister. Okie dokie. So let me show you some more perspectives, if I'm not mistaken here. Subject tilt in third person view. This one is even faster, 22 seconds only, by Nooby Chris again. So let's see here. Nooby Chris. This is the VP. Good here. So yeah, I'm right now showing you some especially premium stuff, because this is very funny. When you think that behind you is just a little sister that from times to times when you drill dash or be beaten up very badly, her hand touches your screen. No, what is touching your screen is the extra sized big little sister that is floating in the air while the little sister is being stored inside of your very own hitbox. This is very funny. Anyway, this will be 22 seconds long, so be right back, I suppose. As you can see, this time the camera is not centered on the little one, so you can see how really small the size of your arms is. I believe that maybe the drill's is natural size is very big, but because of the perspective of your own first person view, you don't really get to see how big it is for real. Anyway, next up here would be BioShock 2 in third person. Once more, this is for 5 minutes by JoshuaPare. Quickly give a credit where it's due. JoshuaPare. Copy. Here. This time, we'll only show you subject delta play, I believe. How it looks like to play with subject delta in the third person view. Just like BioShock 1, you play with only your hands visible. Your hands and arms, nothing more, nothing less. This will be BioShock 2 in third person, 5 minutes and 43 seconds. Enjoy the hilarity. So, yeah, the shotgun actually changes barrels when you shoot it. I never actually noticed that before. Also, when you reload the rivet gun, the cartridge just is unequipped, then re-equipped because they don't have a model for another cartridge for you. That was new for me. Nice video. Okay, what's next on our program for today? Oh, brother, this will be hilarious. So, do you remember how cute the little sisters sounded by the great voice actress Juliette Landau, correct? And we also saw the little sisters' smiling faces and angry faces in the multiplayer section of the quotations. We heard them laughter, we heard them cry, etc. Let me now show you what they truly look like when you adopt them. We saw them from the back side only. Wonder what they look like from the front side. You will love this, I know it. Prepare for some nightmare view. This is from the BioShock videos. BioShock 2, what you really are. First, the credit for it's what they do. The BioShock videos. Yeah, now you will see truly what you look like and what the little sisters truly look like behind the camera. This will be just precious. All of this is content that I didn't include in the original stream because I forgot completely about them. Speaking of which, I also couldn't find some alpha concepts about abandoning and saving little sisters, in which the alpha concept art board shows Sophia Lamb taking the little sisters and literally throwing them outside to the ocean floor, and you saving them somehow. Sorry, I can't show you this because I couldn't find the footage. Anyway, this video will be 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Enjoy it. Enjoy the nightmare view. You still think you can't harvest these things? I am laughing so hard right now here. Wow, this is precious. So yeah, your so-called cute, innocent, lovable little sisters are actually like this in reality. So when the film calls you a monster and when the NPCs fight you, they are fighting a couple of arms that are floating around with two little sisters. One of them is flying vertically with her mouth wide open like a Silent Hill abomination, and the other one is just hanging around in the air behind you, waiting to be summoned to harvest Adam. This is just extremely good. Let's see what we have here next in our program for tonight. I know I am going to be closing all of these tabs when we're done. This is why the Big Daddy looks so good. This is this time technically a short video, very quick short video by GameWhip3925. Quickly get it for its due. GameWhip. This will be a very short, quick video because, again, it's just a short video. This quickly will explain to you the trademark look for the Big Daddies, especially the bouncer. Why it looks very weird. Funny enough, it is for a very good reason. Enjoy.
You know, in BioShock, this is what inspired the look of the Big Daddy. In BioShock, the Big Daddy's design was actually inspired by 19th century French diving suits. Everything from the bulky armor to the multiple glass viewing holes helped create what you see in the final design. Did you know in BioShock, this is what inspired the look of the Big Daddy? In BioShock, the Big Daddy's design was actually inspired by 19th century French diving suits. Everything from the bulky armor to the multiple glass viewing holes helped create what you see in the final design.
So, French diving suit. Interesting stuff, really interesting. Okay, next up we'll have what exactly? The story of the Big Sister. This is especially from our great friend, the BioShockHub. The BioShockHub here explains the story of the Big Sister. What is the story behind her? This will be the first ever video I will share with you from the BioShock Hub directly. The BioShock Hub is your content creator to go to for all kinds of things that relate to BioShock. The BioShock Hub built his channel specifically for the sake of covering everything BioShock. From BioShock 1 to BioShock 2 to the news about the franchise, possibility of BioShock new series, films, whatever. Anyway, enjoy this one.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Eric and welcome back to a brand new BioShock lore video here on the BioShock Hub. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my absolute favorite enemy of all time throughout the BioShock franchise, that being the Big Sister. I wish they were utilized a lot more than how they were in BioShock 2, but I feel that even though they were somewhat limited to the game, they still impacted it quite frequently. And quite drastically, if I do say so myself. So with that being said, I do hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. And before we hop into the video, about 80% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you enjoy this one by the end, or enjoy any of the other videos you happen to see on my channel, would you kindly click that subscribe button? That would mean so much to me. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the story of the Big Sister. First, to explain what a big sister actually is, we'll have to go forward 8 years into Rapture's future to find out. Big sisters are technically still little sisters, however, they're fully grown and matured. Due to Rapture's grueling environment, this caused the big sisters to become extremely unstable and aggressively confrontational with the majority of Rapture's occupants. In terms of the little sisters that they watch over, they function just as Big Daddies do by managing and protecting little sisters. However, the big difference here is the fact that due to their atom consumption from an early age, their power behind the plasmids they use is absolutely incredible. Thus, this causes the big sisters to have genetically and naturally more power while using their plasmids. As the little sisters became more mature in Rapture's settings, both the physical and mental conditioning they've dealt with since childhood had an unbelievable aftermath on both their minds and bodies. Since they matured, they can no longer produce Adam like they did when they were little sisters. This didn't mean that the Adam that they were already exposed to was a detriment to them. In fact, this worked as quite an advantage. It caused them to be taller than normal girls around them. It caused them to have unbelievable strength. Their quickness combined with their plasmids made them very speedy hunters, and with them slowly going into madness, their ultra-aggressive form of attacks were unbearable and unpredictable to most of Rapture's inhabitants. While exhibiting all of these certain traits, Dr. Gil Alexander had an idea. As more and more of the little sisters turned into this state, he came up with a new and alternate mental conditioning method, thus making essentially the Protector Program version 2, after Suchong's work, of course. Since the big sisters are still transitioning from their youth into adulthood, they're usually seen as tall and lanky due to their rapid growth spurts. As I mentioned earlier, each big sister was designed with their own personal suit, which was inspired by the Big Daddy designs. However, they were given their own distinctive differences, whether that be aesthetic or a piece on their suit. Obviously, with Gil Alexander creating the new version of the mental conditioning for the big sisters specifically, he of course designed their suits as well, as illustrated by this audio diary.
We put our eldest sister through a new regimen of physical and mental conditioning and suited her up with modified protector equipment of my design. The younger ones have dubbed her a big sister. Sadly, this is a stopgap. Between rogue splicers and the aging of the girls, we'll run out of viable little sisters soon. After that, the surface may be our only source.
The overall design of the Big Sister suit was rather incredible. They were given a helmet with 2 portholes. Their suits were designed to withstand the water pressure of the ocean, which gave them the ability to swim freely. Something I still personally wish we were able to do as a Big Daddy, but I digress. Also, as I mentioned, they were incredible when it came to combat situations. Firstly, their agility and usage of plasmids made them a terrifying foe. Secondly, their suit was designed with a wrist-mounted needle. This needle allowed multiple functions for the Big Sisters, like using it as a melee weapon like Subject Delta's drill. They also used it to be able to heal from nearby splicers during combat, if given enough time. And they were the only enemy within BioShock 2 to be able to break the glass of Rapture with ease. Things like shooting the glass with bullets, a grenade launcher, using Delta's drill, or any other weapons proved to essentially be useless. It's safe to say that on paper, the Big Sisters would have been absolutely terrifying to have encountered if you were living in Rapture during this period of time. The Big Sister is assigned to 2 primary roles, however. The first is to retrieve, transport, protect, and provide shelter for the Little Sisters. This explains the basket that's specifically decorated for the Little Sisters on their back. Now, we get into the more vile history behind the Big Sisters and Sophia Lamb specifically, the kidnapping of the little girls from the surface. Due to the ever so increasing demand of Adam that Rapture needed, Sophia Lamb decided on a plan after her experiment with Gil Alexander went wrong. If you guys want to know more about that, I'll provide a link in the description if you guys want to read about the experiment. The exact experiment and its entirety, as I mentioned, will be in the description. Ultimately, her plan was that she would use the Big Sisters to swim to the surface and abduct young girls, bring them back to Rapture, and force them into becoming little sisters. One of these young girls happened to be Cindy Meltzer, and we learned this from BioShock 2's There's Something in the Sea, which I have made a video on. If you guys want to check it out, there'll be a card at the top right hand corner of the screen. There's one question that I'm personally interested in, however. After the Big Sisters abducted these young girls, how were they able to safely transport them back to Rapture? Was there a specialized suit that was provided for them with oxygen and the ability to withstand the water's pressure like the Big Sisters? Unfortunately, not too much information on that specific thing exists, or at least I didn't manage to find it, unfortunately. If you have any ideas besides the ones that I mentioned, please let me know down in the comment section below.
But there is one detail of your mutual bond she failed to account for. Your body was designed to lapse into a coma.
Obviously, besides the brute splicers, the Big Sisters will be the most significant enemy that you encounter within BioShock 2 in terms of power. They also essentially act as spies for Sophia Lamb that monitor the movements and actions of Subject Delta. This is to usually try and punish him in some way, shape, or form for his interference with the Little Sisters. One of the coolest things to experience, however, is being able to look outside into the ocean and see a Big Sister either swimming past the window or staring directly back at you through the window. As most of you know, they only attack Delta after 3 harvests or 3 rescues of the Little Sisters all around Rapture. Usually, you'll hear a piercing screech which will indicate that a Big Sister is coming to your location. Overall, the amount of Big Sisters encountered within BioShock 2 is unknown. Since there are multiple models of Big Sisters, it's possible to either see an entirely different looking Big Sister or a few copies of the same exact model. Unfortunately, I personally have never experienced really looking into that, so maybe during my next BioShock 2 playthrough, I should definitely look into that. However, with all of that being said and done, there's one more Big Sister that I forgot to mention in specific. That would be Eleanor Lamb. Not only is her sanity saved by Sophia Lamb breaking her mental conditioning, but she exhibits the same characteristics as a Big Sister when she obtains her own suit. Obviously, the outcome of BioShock 2 depends on your choice in the game, but I would prefer if you guys chose the good ending because it's quite emotional, if I do say so myself. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the story of the Big Sister, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay, so now you know. Our little, in quotation marks, cute and lovable little sisters grew up into their puberty and became completely crazy, feral, and deranged monsters, also known as Big Sisters, /women. I'm not taking that back, especially after seeing Sophia Lamb. So, yeah, they became deranged, feral, and completely crazy. And they just wished to fight and kill. So they became kidnappers. You remember very well Cindy's story with her father, Mark, who went to Rapture and fought a Big Daddy to get his daughter back, and ended up himself becoming a Big Daddy because Sophia Lamb captured him. I always say her name in a sarcastic way because I hate her very much. So what is next in our program tonight? So we can finish it already. We still have 4 more. Next up is the Little Sister, the Big Sister Augmentations. This one is by Roanoke Gaming. I have a confession to make here. I didn't even watch this video, so I have no idea about it at all. So let's watch it together, shall we? Credit is given where credit is due. original source. There you go. Good. And the URL for the video, which is, I believe, C_C. This one here. We have been playing now for, we have been watching videos now for the past 2 hours and 25 minutes. For you. For me, I have been here since the first live stream for BioShock 1. Anyway, we have here now 18 minutes and 39 seconds. I'll mute myself. Enjoy while you still can.
Following the events of BioShock 1, just because you rescued a few little sisters and took out the two knobs battling for control over Rapture doesn't mean vultures won't descend upon the power vacuum and literally talk crap through the PA system for quite literally the entire game. Sweet God, can someone please shut Sophia Lamb up? Mental breakdowns aside, as Ryan and Fontaine both met their ends at the hands of Jack, who would then go on to escape to the surface and live out the rest of his life, 8 years following the events of his escape, Rapture was still alive and not so well, taking a critical hit from the little sisters being rescued because if you harvested them, then you're a complete scrub. Rapture was in even more dire straits concerning the acquisition of Adam. Some were still left over and collecting, but between the splicers remaining a constant ever-present threat and the march of time, little sisters were being taken out faster and faster, or just simply aging to the point that they could no longer house and create Adam like they once did. These little sisters that made it to post-puberty would have their bodies drastically altered outside of the standard growth rate of the female Homo sapiens, which had its origins rooted in the genetic changes induced by the Atom. They would come to be known as Big Sisters. So, in today's episode, we will discuss what ultimately induced these changes, how this affects their meat suits, and what their purpose actually is. I believe the best place to start with the Big Sisters is their actual lore and purpose, which will give us an understanding of the physiological changes they end up acquiring later on. Shortly after Fontaine and Ryan both bit the dust, they would leave Sophia Lamb in control of everything, and with her Rapture family, they would basically be the main power of the city at this time. She was able to bring people over to her side while the power struggle was going on by getting in everyone's head about a utopia being formed. But for this to be done, preparations need to be made. Eventually though, an entire wrench was thrown into the plan as Jack rescued the little sisters and then noped out of there, sending a serious blow to this third party that he had no idea even existed. Realizing that she needed a ton more Adam to actually accomplish much of anything towards her utopia idea, she would continue to send the little sisters into Rapture to harvest the Adam from splicers and the bodies that have fallen. This was successful for a while, and the Big Daddies were still in full deployment to the little sisters. Which actually, if you want a video covering the Big Daddies, then I got you covered because I got one. I'll go ahead and link it at the end, but for now, these Big Daddies were basically hulking behemoths who were quite successful at protecting the little sisters, as many would go on to continue to age. And this is when the problems would begin to arise. The little girls that were sent out to collect Adam would begin entering puberty quite quickly, seeing as there were already quite a few of them on the cusp of this change anyhow. Once entering puberty, their bodies would no longer be capable of producing the Adam Rapture required. Accompanying this was also the issue that their minds were beginning to see through the conditioning that was placed upon them when they were younger. Basically, the little sisters were completely brainwashed and would quite literally see Rapture as a beautiful, angelic place with its denizens being all higher society. Maybe once Rapture used to be that, but now it's a dingy, quasi-inundated ruin with just a bunch of crackheads running around. As the little sisters aged and their brains continued to develop, which if you didn't know, not only is your brain smaller as a child, but also it's quite literally underdeveloped. Being on the other side of brain development age, it's interesting to see how things change. And that's quite literally because connections within the frontal lobe, as well as like pretty much every lobe, but for specifically logical thought, these will be continued to be made as the lobe continues to grow. Anyhow, the same process continued in the little sisters, and they began to see through their conditioning as it was broken by the brain growth that they were experiencing as with the growth of their body. This ended up driving many of the pubescent little sisters insane, which in turn made them aggressive. Aside from the actual puberty, there were a whole host of changes being made to their bodies at this point well outside the normal human biology. The Adam their bodies had been subjected to all this time made them have an affinity for it, rather than an adult body being subjected to Adam, which in turn would change them irrevocably to their own detriment. Subjecting the little sisters to it would have their bodies adapt and incorporate the Adam into their bodies fairly readily. This would give them plasmids as part of their coding, but would not induce the changes in cognition as seen with the splicers, which we will discuss this later on, but I believe this has to do with neuroplasticity. With the little sisters aging out of their ability to obtain the atom needed for Sophia's utopia creation, the children not being born at a quick enough rate to keep the atom flowing in appropriately, all kind of came together and a new idea was hatched. Utilizing the adult little sisters, they would recondition their minds to break them of this insanity and then repacify them, and then subsequently use them for the protective roles, much like how the Big Daddies were used. There would, however, be more requested of them than just to protect the little sisters. Seeing as kids were becoming harder and harder to make, likely because of splicing issues affecting reproduction, the Big Sisters would be equipped with a diving suit unlike the Big Daddy's suit. Whereas the Big Daddies had bulky, heavy suits that required them to walk across the seafloor or really caused them to walk across the seafloor, the Big Sisters had a much lighter suit which allowed them to swim. This would be highly important for the task that they had to undertake. Big Sisters would be sent out to the coast that border the Atlantic Ocean in a bathysphere. They would begin abducting children off the coastlines, much to the dismay of their parents. People would ultimately go into contact the local police, but because it was happening all over the coast in random areas, the link didn't become apparent and nothing was done to prevent it. One man in particular would end up spotting the red glow from the Big Sister's suit underneath the water and assumed it to be aliens. His daughter would then go on to get got by a Big Sister, and then he would follow the clues all the way back to Rapture to attempt to bring her home. However, while he was down there, he ended up getting captured by a Big Sister and then subsequently turned into a Big Daddy, ensuring that the last connection of evidence the world may have had was gone. That sucks. Upon snatching up these kids, they immediately get taken to processing, where they had the slug grafted into their stomachs so they could continually produce the atom at a rate which was needed by Sophia. This would go on to stabilize the production of atom, and the Big Sisters were then tasked with protecting the new little sisters and would be essentially replacing the Big Daddies in a lot of respects as the new thing to fear in Rapture. So with the history and creation wrapped up, I think the first place we should start is with Eleanor, as she gives us a clear indicator as to what these Big Sisters look like. While Big Daddies were essentially mutated in a barely recognizable blob, who then went on to take the form of their suits, Big Sisters are still in their standard human morphological form. They're not grotesquely mutated and instead really are just a person in a diving suit. They undergo their standard puberty changes and with some enhancements due to their bodies being subjected to atom their entire lives. Concerning these changes, let's take a look at the physical changes that we can see and then discuss internally what has happened to cause these. On the outside, we see that they stand eye to eye with Big Daddies, and this would put them well over the average height of any human, whether it be male or female. Standing at roughly 6 feet 10 inches or 2 meters tall, they are quite literally as tall as Master Chief without his armor. However, as the bone growth continued, there would be a stark difference between the Big Daddies and the Big Sister, and this would be the muscle mass. The Big Daddy is a lot like a brute splicer seen in BioShock 2. Because of the transformation process and the atoms they were exposed to, as their height increased, the muscle mass would take on an almost proportionate growth level as well, likely due to the testosterone that was already in their bodies. I say almost proportionate because, well, look at this thing though. I mean, it's not really proportionate at all. Anyhow, this is why the Big Daddies appear to be hulking behemoths, because in reality, they are. The Big Sisters, however, never developed this muscle mass. As the bones lengthen in the little sisters during puberty, as is natural to do, the naturally occurring hormones in the bodies appear to have been hit in some areas, but not in others. Something like testosterone, which could increase muscle mass, appears to not have been overhauled quite like the other hormones an area of the brain would have. This resulted in muscle being stretched rather than grown at any high rate as seen with the Big Daddies. And this comes down to something as simple as the concept as sexual dimorphism. So what is sexual dimorphism? Well, in mammals, it's seen quite readily because we are mammals and it's the most obvious to us. But sexual dimorphism is seen in many different animals on the planet, as well as it can be seen in plants. It just comes down to the differences between males and females. With specifically humans, males have thicker bones, thicker skin, and more muscle mass. Males typically have a larger trachea and branching bronchi, with about 30% greater lung volume per body mass, and on average, males have larger hearts, 10% higher red blood cell count, higher hemoglobin, hence greater oxygen carrying capacity. They can also have higher circulating clotting factors like vitamin K, prothrombin, and platelets. These differences lead to faster healing of wounds and higher peripheral pain tolerance. This is likely because this was a trait inherited due to male competition for mates. The male that could survive a fight because of these traits and also possibly win that fight was more likely to pass along his genes to the next generation. Females typically have more white blood cells stored and circulating, more granulocytes and B and T lymphocytes. Additionally, they produce more antibodies at a faster rate than males. Hence, they develop fewer infectious diseases and succumb for shorter periods. Ethologists argue actually that females interacting with other females and multiple offspring in social groups have experienced such traits as a selective advantage. With this, they also have different angles of their pelvis than their male counterparts, which can change their stance when standing, running, or walking. Less testosterone also leads to things like less muscle mass overall and less bone mass. But because of this, women typically have a lighter frame time than males do, which is where we see the largest differences between big daddies and big sisters. So with all that said, it sounded like basically some medicine commercial, but what exactly is going on within their bodies of the big sister as they change though? Well, let's get into that, because how bones aren't snapping left, right, and center is beyond me. Well, actually, it's not beyond me. We'll talk about it. But when a child enters puberty, many portions of their body begin signaling that things are about to change. The pituitary gland within the brain is about to start popping off like it's never done before. So just for your own information, because it's fun, your pituitary gland is actually a pea-sized endocrine gland at the base of your brain, behind the bridge of your nose, and directly below your hypothalamus. So now there are quite a few hormones that this gland produces, but we will stick with just a basic few, as it can get pretty complicated extremely quickly. Just know that there are tons more hormones that I'm actually talking about being released, but the one of particular interest is actually the human growth hormone, or sometimes it's just called a growth hormone. Anyhow, this hormone does exactly what it sounds like it would do: inspire growth in the body. On each of the long bones and in the middle are what are called growth plates or epiphyseal plates. These are discs of cartilage that continue to expand as you go through puberty. In females, these stop expanding at around 13 to 15 years old, and in males, it stops around 15 to 17 years old. And this is why when you are going through puberty, your legs may have hurt from growing pains, as it's literally spreading your long bones apart, and it pushes them upwards and downwards and all that good stuff. Now, naturally, the age range given is one that you can expect that this is going to stop. But with the big sisters, this is clearly not the case. Seeing as they stand at almost 7 feet tall, this process would have likely continued through their entire puberty and may still be an ongoing process. Usually what happens in these cartilage plates is that they will fuse into osseous bone after puberty, which keeps you at the height that you currently are, but clearly something needed to change different. This goes back to the brain and neuroplasticity. Given the differences that we see between how big daddies, splicers, and big sisters act, the brain is heavily influenced by the addition of Adam. For an adult to take in Adam, this would ultimately cause brain damage to a degree, which I also have a video discussing the effects of Adam. But this brain damage in adulthood would not be really able to be rectified, like your body couldn't repair it. As you grow in age, your brain has a more difficult time dealing with any issues that arise on a neurological level. Should an area be damaged, then it's likely the older you are, well, it's not really likely, it just is, the older you are, the greater chance that area of damage is really damaged for the rest of your life, which can have impacts on other facets of your life. When you are younger though, neuroplasticity is still very much so active. There have been instances where children have had either like an entire lobe of their brain removed or had an issue where lesions appeared all over the brain due to an infection, but after the initial downturn in mental ability, they have the ability to recover to near normal or normal levels of mental function. This is because the brain is still quite adaptive the younger a person is. New connections are more readily formed because the brain itself is still forming. Once the brain has reached a time frame where it isn't developing, which just so we're all aware, now the old way of thinking was that the brain stopped developing in its mid-20s, but now they're saying it's your 40s, but it definitely slows down in your 20s. But this makes it more difficult for the brain to adapt to changing circumstances. While the big daddies and splicers have their brains altered and somewhat destroyed, resulting in the brain damage that we have seen, the fact that the big sisters were exposed to Adam when they were children would mean that their brains were able to adapt to the changes induced by the Adam. However, because their mental cognition was not as heavily affected, seeing as Eleanor appears to basically just be a normal person in terms of communication and demeanor, does not mean areas of the brain haven't been changed that would result in physical changes. For instance, these changes in the brain, such as what we have seen with the telekinesis Eleanor possesses, means that much like any other plasmid user, the changes to the brain were still quite present, but rather than drive her completely insane or any of the other big sisters, their brains were capable of course correcting despite the alterations coming from a natural side effect. The pituitary gland, being a gland, reacts to chemical messengers and then sends out hormones. Should this area be changed or altered by anything, this can have profound impacts on the body. Should say a tumor develop on this gland, this can actually restart the growth process even in adulthood, making a person taller and changing facial structures as the bones continue to grow due to the now increased levels of human growth hormones circulating in the body. And this is what I believe happened to the big sisters. During puberty, as the glands released HGH, the levels were likely to be higher because of the Adam damage to the pituitary gland. On top of this, likely it didn't stop for a longer period of time, which means in turn, they would be taller. This unintended consequence of the Adam exposure and brain neuroplasticity would have some benefits to the young women who would become big sisters, but likely also had some serious drawbacks based on what we know about human physiology. Because hormones like testosterone were likely not increased based on the muscle mass that we see, and where testosterone is actually produced in females, this means that all ligaments, muscles, and tendons are likely being stretched to near maximum. Now, the benefit of this would be able to move faster, as everything is almost, say, like a high tension wire, able to snap back quicker, making big sisters incredibly agile. The drawback of this is any damage to the muscles, tendons, ligaments, whatever could result in a literal severing of that tissue because it is under much more tension and being stretched to the length that it is. The bones are also lengthened by the HGH, but would likely not be as thick as males. We see that in a lot of taller people that the bones are actually suffering from more frailty issues because of the simple physical fact that they are longer, meaning pressure put on them could in turn cause them to snap as they may be thinner towards the middle. But on top of this, the more pressure or any pressure that you put further away from a center point actually causes it to basically be heavier, in which case that's more force applied to that bone. Now, the benefit of these longer bones accompanied with likely more tensile stressors in the legs and arms means that big sisters could cover ground more quickly and could also jump from wall to wall, making them much more of a difficult target to hit. But the weakness in the bones is likely fairly pronounced, and if enough physical trauma was induced, the bones would snap easier than normal because of the physical pressures that they are under. To help mitigate this issue, however, measures were taken in order to bolster the meat suits that they were working with because of the physical changes. On most of the suits, apart from Eleanor's, who didn't have a full working suit, we see that either sides of the legs, a form of metallic exoskeleton is added. This likely allows for the big sister to use the tensile strength of her muscle, ligaments, and tendons, but upon landing, the pressure of that landing is transferred into the exoskeleton as opposed to their bones, which might end up snapping. So not just the legs, but also the arms were lengthened as they had their growth plates increased as well. This meant that this area, much like the legs, had to be bolstered. We see on each arm of the big sister that a gauntlet has been added, either possessing a spear for ranged attacks or an atom extractor, which the big sister can use on splicers to extract what they need. But speaking of that, what's most interesting is how the atom affects not just the mind, but also the body of the big sister in several ways that are completely different from how it affects adults who have come into contact with this gene-altering material. When a person is injured, a certain amount of their cells are either destroyed or exposed when they aren't supposed to be. And this can lead to the death of the body from injury unless the natural healing factor is able to overcome this issue. In the big sisters, this healing factor is more controlled with the addition of Adam, whereas this healing factor in other adults who are then infected with Adam, it's not controlled. It almost appears seemingly random. But with a normal person, they will experience healing to a degree because of how the atom turns their cells back to a stem cell. But then this can have issues leading to splicers as benign tumors grow all over the body as the tissue is fundamentally changed. With the big sister, upon receiving an injury, she can take in Adam and direct it to an injury, fixing it. It would appear that because they were able to do this, their body must have adapted in some way to the actual changes induced by the atom. This would say to me that because of the long-term exposure to Adam and how their bodies grew with it, not only were their changes inspired, but genetically their cells must be able to maintain stable genetic coding in the face of this gene-altering material. And this would mean that the process of reverting back to a stem cell must not be standard with the little sisters and big sisters. Instead, the atom may in a way affect the mitotic pathways only of their cells, which is supported by the growth of their body overall. Human growth hormone is fantastic, but the cells still need to divide to increase the height that we have seen with the big sisters. Because of this, as more atom later in life is brought in, this will only affect a cell near an injury and then make it divide. So naturally, cells do divide near injuries as chemical messengers alert the rest of the body that an opening has happened, which, as you might guess, would be fantastic for microbes to enter through and then infect your body. And this causes the cells in the area to begin dividing quickly to fill in the injury to block out invading microbes. Once it is healed, this process slows down back to normal. When a big sister drains a splicer, it's apparent their bodies have altered to the point that hormones and chemical messengers have changed with this atom, but they can still function. Atom absorbed.
Forgive me, but I need an emergency bathroom break. Back.
Rapture is a body delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this: sleep now. Your day is done. Look, it is the world for which you strive. You, alone among the dead. Rapture is a body delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this: sleep now. Your day is done. Look, it is the world for which you strive. You, alone among the dead. Rapture is a body delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this: sleep now. Your day is done. Look, it is the world for which you strive. You, alone among the dead. Rapture is a body delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this: sleep now. Your day is done.
Okay, I'm back. To you, it has been only 2 hours and a half. For me, it has been now 5 hours. Because it was a stream after stream. Sorry, when nature calls, it calls, and you must answer the calling, regardless. Anyway, now we can easily, hopefully, finish off this session. Let's get back to the video and finish it quickly.
causes these cells to enter an increased state of mitosis to heal any injury that the body has taken, whether it be internal or external. But this can be overtaxed, however, as the big sisters are far from invincible. So big sisters are ultimately humans whose bodies are still quite capable of adapting due to their age, whereas adults, when imbibing Adam, would have their meat suits changed initially for the better. These changes would continue, which would distort their naturally occurring mechanisms of communication and growth, as well as their brains and their brain case, and then it just went really bad from there. Little sisters, on the other hand, had the Adam present throughout their entire lives, or at least most of their lives. Because it immediately didn't take them out, that means that their bodies are able to adapt and were still growing and changing. Adam being present made those changes more pronounced once they hit puberty, but they were still able to accommodate the alterations and survive in some ways that would make them quicker and more agile than others could keep up with. But likely, it still had several drawbacks to their physical durability.
Couldn't I have just waited the few seconds and then went to the bathroom? Sorry, I couldn't. I just couldn't. Anyway, we now only have 3 more videos left. Let's finish them. First one here is the Big Sisters Quotes. Wow, by Joo John. Again, our friend Joo John. So this is the one we almost missed out. Our great friend here, Joo John. Credit is given where credit is due. Where is Joo John? Here. Looks like Joo John's specialty is the video game quotes. Whatever, not my business. My business is to give a credit for its due. This is CZHR. CZHR. The next one here. So the Big Sisters quotes. Do they even have quotes? Good question, and the answer is we'll see now. Unless they are Eleanor's own quotes, in which case it makes sense. Anyway, thanks very much for Joo John again for BioShock 2 Big Sister quotes or dialogue. 30 minutes and 2 seconds. I'll mute myself. Enjoy the show while it lasts. Okay, so I went to IMDb on my phone, and turns out nobody took the credit for voicing the Big Sisters, which means that what you're right now listening to wasn't even voice. Let me check what the commentators here say in Joo John's video. The fact that little sisters are usually very nice and kind. The thing big sisters are, besides the noises, are very understanding. They want to help them, possibly. Why me due to the forcing? Okay. But big sisters are saying, why me at 155? I think their mental conditioning. Why me? Are you for real? 155. That is true. Why me? Wow. The conditioning, yeah, stop themselves. Okay. Not really sure what it honestly means. Secret voice lines. She says, why me, in case it's unclear for you. The secures, after she has heard herself, laughter. The press. This is freaky. This is very freaky. Due to the voice module surgery, their voices are incredibly distorted. The girl inside is talking and screaming, but we can only make out a couple of words. Yeah, sticking up. Why me? What? Okay, it's so clear. It's just all the time. Why me? Don't ask me. I don't know, but I believe that once you kill them, you actually give them some peace of mind. Okay, what do we have else? The next one is here, the Big Daddy grotesque restructuring. We have only 2 videos left. I think, what's the last one here? All the Easter eggs. We'll set up through this one, and then we will finish everything with the Easter eggs. So this one is again from Roanoke Gaming. Let's give it credit what it's due. ZV. Roanoke Gaming. Don't forget at all that Big Sisters literally used to be little sisters. So yeah, you are technically killing the little sisters as you are killing the big sisters as their more feral form, the madness. Okay, I'm going to shut my mouth and let you enjoy the Big Daddy restructuring.
Deep under the sea, oh wait, wrong story. Deep under the ocean, following the events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a man named Andrew Ryan would start viewing the government with more and more disdain. At first, it was the acquisition of his property and finances, which then he would proceed to burn the property down, and I mean, when it came to his finances, he still had to pay taxes like the rest of us. But he would start regarding the state as a parasite. But after witnessing the young men who were sent to war to fight for the country, with many of them meeting their own demise, Andrew Ryan was, for all intents and purposes, done with society. Having become completely disgusted with how the state wielded power, he and his steamliner would sail out into the ocean in an attempt to start a new city somewhere in the world. However, meeting much of the same issue and becoming disillusioned with it, he would ultimately choose a place where he says it was not impossible to build, it was impossible to build anywhere else. Deep within the ocean, on the sea floor, away from the influence of government, Rapture would be built, and for a time, it was good. Many breakthroughs would be made in the name of science. Ryan would recruit the best and brightest to come to his city to conduct their work. work, free of the hindrance of government. This led to some pretty horrendous violations of human rights, but arguably none were more heinous than the creation of the Big Daddies and Little Sisters. So in today's episode, we'll be focusing on specifically the Big Daddies, since we more or less covered the Little Sisters, and discuss their internal anatomy within their suits, how they came to be, and ultimately what happens should they lose their little sister. As the building in the city was in its infancy, divers were sent deep within the frigid dark waters to begin drilling into the rocks to create the foundation of Rapture. As this process continued and buildings were constructed and scientists brought in, they would all begin their work. Eventually, Adam would be discovered along with plasmids. As time went on, everyone would start imbibing these DNA-altering materials, which would cause many to begin having ideas concerning the divers. The divers were still very much so important in Rapture, as you might imagine.
Stop it!
As the city profited from science and discovery, it would continue to grow and bring in more people. As more people were brought in, not everyone would succeed for their original purpose that they came down there, and because of this, some were suited up in a diver suit and then sent out to drill more rocks and create more foundations for future buildings to be constructed. But likely mishaps would occur, as they do, as the human body is rather frail with all that pressure being applied to it, plus contending with the super cold temperatures of the water, and that heat loss was an ever-present issue. The reality is, a human in its natural form would be subjected to constant working environments that the bodies were never really meant to deal with. And this sparked an idea. Why not change the human to become more than what nature just designed it to be, thus making it a better worker? The lines of thinking at this point became to change the human anatomy and physiology to become more resilient in the face of hostile working environments located just outside the walls of Rapture, because this was an ongoing, ever-needed process. Rivets would snap, walls would begin caving in after pressure was applied to them for such a long time, and this would cause water to leak within the structure. The concept of the Big Daddy came into view with Dr. Sushong being the creator of these monsters and subsequently his own demise. Taking the human diver and altering them with Adam would ensure not only that their bodies could withstand the pressures and temperatures of the ocean, but that they would be forever mindless and devoid of their own free will. By attaching their skin and organs to the interior of the suit would become their body, making them more capable within it. With the suit came life support functions like oxygen rebreathers. The durability of the suit itself gave the Big Daddies a form of exoskeleton that probably resembled Kevlar, and a giant metal helmet would protect vital areas, acting as like a second skull and rib cage for any internal organs and the brain. This allowed for Big Daddies to move about as they pleased without the protection of the building walls, which ultimately allowed them to maintain the city for extended periods of time without the need to come back and rest and eat or warm up.
Stop it!
They could pretty much indefinitely stay outside and continue working on repairing anything that may be broken in the city. And for a time, this was good, but we all know what happens to Rapture. To get a good idea about the future of the Big Daddies and why they were pair bonded with Little Sisters, we must first talk about the strengths brought on by the Atom, which would practically mutilate their form and turn them into grotesque beasts just below the surface of Kevlar and metal. So getting a good look at them, you might be inclined to believe that it's just a regular person in there with just increased strength. A good comparison, as most people would probably view these things, is sort of like the brute splicer created 10 years later during the events of BioShock 2, but this is not actually really the case. Below the surface of the suit, the important thing to note is that this actually is their body. The suit is quite literally intermeshed with their skin, and because of that, the skin stretches out to all corners of the suit to meet up with the material and metal and intertwine with it. This misconception that Big Daddies are just people wearing suits is way off. Well, at least, concerning the later iterations. The first iterations were just people. So it's much more morbidly fascinating than that. The larger than normal body, the hunched over appearance, and the actual size of the helmet itself means that the body itself is in fact shaped to that size too.
Dear God. There's more. No.
The issue is, to have someone become this has changed their physical appearance drastically as well as their skeletal structure. So, you know where we have to start, and man, with all these movies I've been covering, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? But starting with the feet, we see how large these bad boys actually are. This means that just on the other side of that metal is, well, the skin, which is also intermeshed with it. This would mean that the tarsal bones would have to lengthen quite a bit to grow to the size that the metal suggests that they are. The ligaments as well would also be lengthened, along with just about everything else to fill the size of its container. Moving up the legs, we get to the tibula and fibular bones, which compose the lower leg. Within this area, considering how large they are and taller somewhat than normal splicers and humans, the bones have grown as well. Plus, the calf muscle, as we can already tell, has had muscle growth, and this will typically be the theme that we see throughout the Big Daddy, as this would allow for their ability to withstand things like currents in the ocean by allowing them to stabilize themselves on the ground better, but also to support its own weight. Moving up to the knees, they would still operate like the original knee would, but they would need to be greatly strengthened to deal with the extra weight now put on them by the simple fact that the suit is likely hundreds of pounds on its own, and now the original body mass has increased.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
What's interesting is, as we move up to the thigh region, we can see that the calves and thighs are roughly about the same size as each other. Heading towards the abdomen is where things begin to get a little muddled and more difficult to imagine, but I will try to do my best to explain the anatomical changes underneath the suit because they're fairly grisly, which is also, pretty fun to talk about. We see the metal portion of the suit beginning in this area, and this would mean that the abdomen has distended in this metal chamber. So remember that the skin is now intermeshed with the metal, meaning that the organs are just behind this metal plate. Likely, there would be some organ changes, which we will get to the real internals in a moment. Moving further up to the torso area, you might notice this is where the head is, but it's basically center mass. Due to the process of gene manipulation, it appears that there are two possibilities. Either the head has moved down by spinal changes around the thoracic and cervical area of the spine, and muscle has built up, or the skin and skull are stretched out and simply take this shape. I believe it to be the former over the latter, seeing as the muscle increase dictates that likely the trapezius muscles are also larger. Speaking of, the shoulders are now absolutely massive in order to deal with the extra pressures of walking around with this suit, but also the enhanced strength of the Big Daddy has for, its original purpose, which would be to move heavy pieces of metal and break through rock in order to maintain rapture, but also begin constructing new areas for buildings to exist in. Moving further down the arms, we see that they are roughly about the size of the legs, which hints at the strength of them, but also the fact that they have a giant drill on the arm in certain variants means that they didn't really use heavy equipment in order to complete tasks, but were the heavy equipment deployed for construction purposes. Internally, past the structuring of the body, many different things were taking place within it to support this meat mech of that size. However, it should be noted that not all Big Daddies are built the same. Some are quite literally just built different, and this is because as the project went along, new variants were made for their purpose shifted to kind of fill other needs for those that created these monsters, which we'll go over here shortly. Back to their internals, starting with their skeleton, we have seen that they are taller and larger than most splicers, meaning that likely their skeletal system would have to change to keep up with demand. During their creation, the Atom had a direct hand in reactivating the growth plates or epiphyseal plates of the long bones between the middle of the bone itself and at the very ends of the bones. Typically, these will calcify after adulthood or, after puberty really, but with the ability to quite literally manipulate genes and create stem cells as postulated in my Atom video, this would reactivate this area, causing the legs to stretch and also causing the arms to stretch as well, because that's where the long bones are located. This would give them the ability to grow taller, but this would not be enough. As the bones lengthen, they tend to lose density, and as they are stretched, this could cause them to break fairly easily, and considering they have a lot more pressure on them, longer bones without any structural support would not be great. So things like osteoblasts would be sent in to help strengthen the bone. And this would be important again because, you've also got all that muscle strength kind of pulling on everything, and, having as much muscle strength as you like, if you're walking around in a suit weighing hundreds of pounds, contending with the crushing pressure of the ocean, if your bones were like, your and I's bones, they would be pulverized fairly quickly. Not to mention, muscle uses bone as an attachment point, and considering the strength the Big Daddy needs on a daily basis when constructing materials, this would easily snap bone if it wasn't actually enhanced. As the osteoblasts were likely switched on during this time by the Atom, they would make bones quite strong, but along with that, it would also change how the bones were shaped, because not all bones need to actually keep growing, and this rampant regrowth would have some issues. In areas like, the arms, not much would be seen, but in more intricate areas, say like the spine, this bone growth may be why we see them hunched over, as the entire shape of the spine would be compromised as vertebra pressed on other vertebra in strange manners. The osteoblast would ensure that the skull essentially pressed outwards to meet the metal, or it wouldn't ensure that, but once it started doing that, the bone would be kind of connecting in varying pieces to the skull and then growing from there, which means that the entire head is actually the shape of the head piece, which that must have been really painful. Talk about a splitting headache. Essentially, the human skeleton is really no longer present in its original form with Big Daddies. Instead, it has become more like a gorilla in the sense of thicker bones, forward-leaning posture, but still somewhat human with the longer legs, but also with the bipedal ability that we have right now. Now, thicker bones are pretty awesome. I always love talking about double bone density because it's pretty fascinating, but just for your information, basically right now, you might be sitting here watching this and you could have double bone density. It's essentially this phenomenon where without any actual detriment to your body, apart from you being less buoyant and having to work harder to swim, you actually have more bone growth on your bones than normal, which makes them stronger. My personal thinking is it kind of seems to stem from Neanderthals who had much thicker bones than Homo sapiens, but I suspect that actually I might have this, as there are quite a few times where I should have broken a bone and didn't. Anyhow, it's just a cool thing to talk about. Apart from that, you know, the thicker bones being awesome, without strength, is there really any point to them? And that's why you go to the gym and get swole. But with Big Daddies, the entire muscular system has been overhauled, taking into account the actual size of a Big Daddy to support the new body size and ironically, the new muscle growth that it would need. More muscle would be needed. Typically, humans operate with a certain range of muscle growth, with new fibers being created from satellite cells actually producing new muscle fibers. But there is a limit to this, because usually your body would rather sort of regenerate what was already there and repair the muscle cells. So this is why we don't get like ridiculously huge and just turn into like a blob of muscle because we lift. We still have the same basic muscular structure and same basic shape. With the Big Daddies, this is clearly different. To make up for the new area to be housed in the skin that is now pulled outwards, the muscle presumably began growing to ridiculous proportions in these areas. Again, because the stem cells created in the same manner as when the dock worker's hand was healed after being bitten by a slug-containing atom, so too would these muscle cells begin forming and attaching to the muscle that is already located in the body. This in turn would make them much more powerful. This hypertrophy would almost be like that of a Spartan's, ironically. However, they would kind of be much more misshapen and may pull in different directions and ways, which in turn actually could potentially make them stronger. This strength was obviously quite important for their environment, but when used against humans or splicers, they could literally tear a person apart. And with a drill arm, well, that just isn't great for anyone's insides should that be used. This hypertrophy is interesting in a lot of ways, as stated previously, because what we have is quite literally the addition of new muscle, which we have seen in others who have been affected by Atom and plasmids, but strangely, their transformation took a much longer period of time. With the brutes we see in BioShock 2, what they did was actually take a muscle building plasmid. Now, in the first game, we didn't see any muscle building plasmids, but their muscle mass increased, which could be comparable to the Big Daddies' Sans the Suit. But muscle and bone growth are also pretty awesome. But without the nutrition to support this change, then the body would slowly eat itself over time, not to mention the oxygen saturation levels would need to be high, which is perfect for what we see concerning torso size. The digestive tract likely is longer now to fill the abdomen area of the suit, which if the small intestine is lengthened, food taken in has more time to get more nutrients extracted from it in order to give the body more components that it needs. Concerning the torso, the lungs would either likely be increased in size with many more alveolar sacs to facilitate the exchange of CO2 and O2 in order to keep the muscles saturated. But there is either another component that helps with this or completely negates the need for lungs at all. Because the suit itself acts as life support, likely there is a tap-in point where the tubes are directly either in the lungs providing oxygen, or it could tap into the very bloodlines of the Big Daddy in order to give them the oxygen they need. This could potentially, as I said, negate the need for anything like lung expansion, but quite literally, they are feeding the grotesque former human oxygen intravenously. Now again, one of the things that should be noted is as this process entered its later stages, this is where it became more sinister. The first iterations of Big Daddies were simply altered humans. This process was obtained by simply altering their actual genetic coding, much like anybody did with plasmids. Upon doing so, the human form would continue to grow, but there were still small issues of, the human having free will. That old song and dance. So they were, however, still greenlit as it was a maintenance type of deal and then placed in a suit to be the alpha variants. They were able to remove the suits, but were definitely still altered in order to complete their jobs, and this is why in BioShock 2, when Dr. Lamb tells you to remove your helmets, you can still remove your helmet because it's not attached to your face and basically just be removing your head. Eventually though, as Atom became a more and more lucrative business and really the denizens of Rapture were on the cusp of a civil dispute, they would ultimately have the Big Daddies change from caretakers of Rapture to protectors of Little Sisters. The first one to be successful was Delta, who was a part of the Alpha iteration. They were bonded to a Little Sister above all else, but the issue was just one Little Sister in particular. If they lost that Little Sister, they would either go into a comatose state and then meet their end, or enter a manic rage and destroy everything around them. This would imply that the frontal lobes of the Big Daddies were severely affected during the gene alteration process, and should they lose a little sister, this would also kind of indicate that the amygdala may be larger than normal. So likely the brain as a whole though was transformed, but the frontal lobe responsible for reasoning and logic was really thought to be either destroyed or suppressed in some way, making these creatures essentially mindless but directable. And this is why it was such a shock that Delta had free will and a functional plan whenever he engaged with anybody who was actually important, because really all the splicers you meet, you just totally annihilate them. The later iterations of the variants of Big Daddies would have a much more aggressive process take place concerning their physical form. They were basically submerged in yellow liquid, which would restructure their body. They would take the shape of their suits and their brains would be severely hindered. Their vocal cords would be destroyed and they would receive a pheromone treatment that would cause the little sisters to come to them. On top of all this, they were able to pair with multiple little sisters so that if one was lost, they would not enter a comatose or manic rage state. Instead, they would simply move on to the next to begin the collection process once more. As the city entered battle with itself, ultimately a large portion of the Big Daddies, even with their superior strength and size, would be destroyed by the citizens who were hopped up on plasmids of their own. On top of this, as the little sisters were saved from the atom or harvested if you're a turbo douche, a lot of those bonds would really be broken, and then those Big Daddies would enter altered states. Ultimately, the Big Daddies are creatures whose mere existence is a human rights violation. Having come from likely unwilling participants sent to Fontaine and Rhine to be experimented on by Dr. Souchong, their bodies would be twisted, their humanity taken from them by destruction of the frontal lobe, but this would also result in a creature that could take on most, if not all, challenges presented in front of them, because even after 10 years of the city's partial destruction, there's still Big Daddies wandering around, collecting new little sisters and continuing their protection role, despite them likely never really wanting to enter that role in the first place.
Well, I have one single comment for all of this. Even though the Geneva Convention happened, and even though the human rights in quotation marks do exist somehow, don't forget that that the United States and the Allied nations all don't even give a shit at all about the human rights, and for them all the humans are slaves by design. So yeah, speak about the human rights to someone that actually cares about them, because majority, if not the whole world, doesn't even know they actually exist and can't even talk about them. I'm going to keep this tab open because I'd like to subscribe for Roanoke Gaming, because he speaks very much about biology, which is something I care about and I love. Next up here, our last finally piece for this session, which now has lasted for 3 hours and 17 minutes, is from Captain Eggcellent again, with all the secrets and the Easter eggs for BioShock 2. Problem is, I forgot completely to add the credits here. Back to while copying the information that are needed.
Rapture is a body, Delta. I am the voice, and Big Sister is the hand. When Rapture speaks of you, it says only this: sleep now. Your day is done.
Okay, let's get done with this please quickly, because I need to take a break myself. Credit is given where credit is due. Captain Eggcellent. Here we go. Copy this here, paste it in the original source. I'm going to have to update this stream's details, because we need to copy this piece of information into it also, the description. If you wish to visit any of these channels and explore them by your own, feel free. Here it is. Credit is given where credit is due. Now I'm going to mute myself in order to let you enjoy the Easter eggs and the secrets. This is the final piece of our show for today. Greetings and salutations back, George. Sorry about myself disabling the live chat, but I can't allow it until we're done with this, because this is a bonus video, and I am demanded by my own principles to give you the best possible content as much as it's possible. Enjoy.
So last weekend, myself and the BioShock Hub took a look at every Easter egg in the original BioShock. This week we take a look at every Easter egg in BioShock 2, my personal favourite. If you have a YouTube channel, can record in 1080p 60 FPS and want to collaborate in the same way myself and the BioShock Hub have, then get in touch through Twitter. Now more than ever, smaller YouTubers need the help of bigger creators, and I know I'd have killed for help when I first started out. And with that being said, go and check out the BioShock Hub's channel, the link will be in the description and pinned as top comment. Anyway, enough rambling, enjoy the video.
Telling you, he's up topside now, highballing with all the can-can girls. And if anybody gets lippy, pow, he's got the bomb.
Nuts! He saved a whole kindergarten full of cutesy little brats and went up happy ever after. He was a pansy. End of story.
You think I give half a squirt when he's done? He's gone now, and Doc Lamb's the news.
I long for one night in a warm... Is that too much to ask?
face. I have a new goddamn face. Who'd have thought? Rapture. Paradise of the confidence man. I gotta keep revising the Atlas voice. I figure the accent gives me an excuse to lock myself in a room with a bottle and count the cash. War's on in full now, boy. And I've got a hell of a surprise for Andrew Ryan. Long time coming. And right about now, I expect the prodigal son is booking his flight.
Prison, it seems, was a blessing. Ryan is now dead by his own son's hand. But far more interesting is the program of compulsion bred into his child, coded WYK. It was some manner of verbal trigger phrase, which the boy would obey as an order, unerringly. In a way, this sad thing, this half-man, had escaped the self. Highly intelligent, but devoid of so-called free will with all its convenient blind spots. What if he had been instructed to uphold the common good? What if he were a volunteer?
Lord, what more do you wish of me? Your wretch of a servant waits for word. I have followed the letter of the Holy Mother Lamb, though she will not tell me the day of your return. I watched as you smote down the false father, Andrew Ryan, who tempted us away from your radiant gaze. But ye would not speak to me, Lord. I have built for you this great temple, and gathered your flock, yet still you were silent. Will you not strike me poor brother blind, so he may at last behold your glory, as was done to Paul on the road to Damascus? I am alone, Lord, alone, and waiting for a sign.
And I think that's it. It's almost 4:30 a.m. now. 3 hours and a half. Well, bro, if people are prepared to listen to an audiobook for 10 hours straight, I believe they are more than prepared to watch a bonus video that covers so much information needed to be understood for 3 hours and a half. Most of the manhwa I watch are almost for 5 to 6 hours. Just say I don't have a life and I'll accept it. Yet again, I'm giving credit where it's due. And this is the remake for the BioShock 2 Remastered Let's Play 8th bonus video. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did for the first video about BioShock 1, which is, take a look at this. Go to gameplay scene. I'm showing you right now my own studio, Invisible's studio. This is the first one with 4 views only. It was recorded on October 27th, 2023. In a private, which means it was recorded the previous week, I believe. This is what will happen right now to it. This incomplete video, take it here, and then go to more actions and delete forever. Take care, goodbye. Because now we have its official replacement. With that being said, I think this will be it for today's session officially. I need a break from all of this information. So, Thanks all for watching. I'd like to pray peace be upon all of my subscribers and commentators, followers, fans, and friends, everyone from the Beasts of the Empire and everyone from the Discord server, free YouTube friends by name. Peace be upon Thundersuck Gaming, B809 Gaming, Marcus, Netcrash, Mark ICWY, Rogue Agent Carodan, Cryfield, ZPTV123, Matthew 1121, Sagadaco 85, Bob Express, Sparpan28, Sewe underscore V, Crazy Dragons 412, Heavy Metal Driver 666, and Torsko. And especially thanks for George Retaloganafascotta for being with us in the comments area, even though I disabled it. Till next time, whenever that will be, make sure to stay careful, stay healthy, and stay safe. We are living in a merciless, unforgiving, unforgivable hell. Anything can happen. Make sure to keep your friends and family close to you. Keep your enemies even closer. You don't know when you will need help or will come from. Make sure to give a credit and the gratitude where they're due. It's much easier and simpler to ask for the favors for you than it is to give flowers for the graves of the dead. Until next time, whenever that will be. Invisible, the non-existent with you, sign out. I am never doing something like this ever again unless the game is truly worth all of this effort. Take care and best of luck. I'm out.